Martha MacCallum is a familiar face on Fox News, calm and composed behind the anchor desk. But away from the cameras, her life has carried weight few viewers ever see. She endured the loss of both parents, faced health scares, and lived under constant public scrutiny. These moments didn't unfold on air, but they shaped who she became. This is the quieter side of Martha MacCallum, and why her story is sadder than most people realize. Veteran Fox News anchor Martha MacCallum has endured profound personal loss in recent years, publicly sharing the heartache of losing both her parents and reflecting on the deep impact they had on her life. Known for her steady presence on The Story with Martha MacCallum, the journalist has occasionally opened up about family tragedies that have shaped her personal life, and the world couldn't believe her heartbreaking story. Martha's mother was Elizabeth MacCallum, a central figure in her early life, and remained a source of inspiration throughout her adult years. Elizabeth battled breast cancer for more than a decade, eventually succumbing to the disease in April 2013 after a 13-year fight. During that time, Martha and her family had to navigate the emotional toll of long-term illness, relying on her close family members to support her and one another amid the rigors of treatment and caregiving. In interviews, Martha remembered her mother, not only for the illness but also for the positive outlook and strength she maintained even in hardship. Her mother had influenced how she approached personal life and public work. For Martha, her mother's death was not just a private loss, but a moment that exposed the fragility of life and the importance of family. In a rare glimpse into her personal reflections, she has spoken about her mother's dedication to family. In 2025, a poignant moment involving Martha gained significant attention when she became visibly emotional on air. In September 2025, she received a letter on air and thought it was just another fan letter. But when she opened it, she found out it was a letter from her late mother. She was devastated and found herself in tears over that moment. This was a deeply emotional and important moment for her, but not the only one she faced. She faced another moment in November 2025 when her daughter Elizabeth, named after her mother, sent another letter to her. As she opened the envelope and read the letter, the anchor found herself blinking back tears as she reflected on her family legacy. Then in December 2025, her son surprised her on set with roses and a letter too, revealing the closeness of her family. But 2025 was not an easy year for her. Her heartbreaking story extended earlier in the year when she faced another tragic loss with the passing of her father, Douglas MacCallum. Douglas, her father, passed away in March 2025 at the age of 92. In an emotional tribute shared on social media, Martha described her father as a wonderful father and great friend, talking about his wisdom, charm, and humor that enriched the lives of his children long before his death. She honored his service as a Navy lieutenant during the Korean War, and also talked about his joy in family life, especially the life he shared with her mother. Martha found herself facing a deep void left by both her parents passing away. The loss of her father came at a time when Martha was firmly established as one of the most recognizable figures on Fox News. This role required poise and professionalism on camera. But during these moments, the anchor has found many moments to convey genuine emotion and vulnerability. Martha has faced many heartbreaking moments in her sad life, and she can never forget how she felt when she watched the terrifying Hamas attack. Martha MacCallum offers a deeply affecting account of her recent experience when she watched the unfiltered video of the October 7, 2023, Hamas attack on Israel, describing the material as horrific. According to her, this was the most disturbing imagery she had encountered in her long career. The footage was shown to a group of journalists at the Israeli consulate and gave Martha first-hand exposure to scenes that go way beyond what many people have seen through censored or partial clips on social media and broadcast news. Martha told her audience that the Israeli government had invited reporters, including her, to view full recordings of the assault. They had to watch raw video drawn from the body cameras worn by attackers, cell phone footage from civilians, and CCTV recorded during the chaos of that day. It was meant to give them a complete visual record of what happened during the initial assault, when hundreds of Hamas militants crossed into Israeli territory and carried out surprise attacks on civilian communities, military posts, and kibbutzim. She stated that the unedited footage was horrific and emotionally overwhelming. causing even seasoned reporters to feel the same impact. On air at Fox News, she remembered a haunting scene that has stayed with her ever since then. She remembered seeing two boys, about 8 and 10, witnessing their father's death from a grenade, then being forced into their kitchen by Hamas fighters, with one child injured and disoriented. The boys scream for their mother, questioning why they are alive, and Martha has said she will never forget. She talked about another disturbing moment that happened. It was a recorded phone call from a Hamas attacker to his parents. She described scenes of conflict and suffering. At times, she also looked affected and said that many of her colleagues watched the footage and had similar reactions, including a major psychological toll. But Martha has stressed that the point of showing this footage is to make sure that this part of the story isn't forgotten. To her, this event was the cause of subsequent hostilities. She acknowledged the suffering of the families in the Palestinian territories and also emphasized that the October 7th attack was the cause for the current situation. A central focus of Martha's remarks was not merely the brutality of the attack, but its human dimension, particularly the effect on children and families caught up in the assault. In recounting what she saw, she emphasized that some of the images involved very young victims whose lives were irrevocably altered in moments of overwhelming violence. Her description conveyed a sense of urgency in ensuring that the world understood the gravity of what took place. Many have praised Martha's willingness to speak honestly about what she saw. It's clear that she wants to bear witness to these events that shape public understanding of global conflict. But ever since she watched the video, she has had to deal with the emotional burden and psychological toll of what she saw. Even amid all of this, she has had to deal with personal health scares, especially after watching her mother pass away due to a 13-year-long battle with cancer. Martha MacCallum has been open about how cancer has touched her family, influencing her life both personally and professionally. The disease claimed the life of her mother after a long battle and has sparked a heightened focus on preventive health within her immediate family. It's no surprise that this is a major scare for Martha. After all, her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 65 and fought the disease for more than a decade before her death in April 2013. Throughout her lengthy struggle, Elizabeth became the symbol of resilience and positivity for her family. Even as she faced the challenges of chemotherapy and the uncertainty of her diagnoses, Elizabeth maintained a vigilant and hopeful approach, revealing a strength that guided Martha on her journey through life. Because of this fear, Martha has emphasized the importance of getting supportive medical care and a clear plan. She has praised her mother's doctor at the Weill Cornell Breast Center in New York for providing reassurance and a sense of control amid the long cancer battle. Having a doctor involved who shows you there are tools in the toolbox and there's a plan is very reassuring, MacCallum said, describing how that confidence allowed her mother to live actively and meaningfully during many of her cancer years. The impact of her mother's illness extended beyond emotional support. It caused Martha and her family members to take proactive steps toward their own health. She has made it a priority to get regular screenings. In interviews, she said that she went through multiple annual checkups, including visiting a gynecologist, mammograms, and MRI scans each year. It's not only for her peace of mind, but it also sets an example for her children and catches any potential issues early. That vigilance has paid a lot for her and her family. Her sister Jane was diagnosed with breast cancer before age 40, and because of regular health monitoring, her case was discovered early enough to be successfully treated. The losses in 2013 were particularly heavy for the Martha household, as the family also mourned the death of Martha's other grandmother, Cecilia, that same year. Both women were beloved figures in the lives of MacCallum's children, contributing to a year of profound grief, but also deeper appreciation for the life cycle and legacy. These personal health scares have shaped Martha's approach to her own wellness, and she continues to be open about the changes she is making to her life. But aside from all these losses, Martha has had to deal with some controversies during her career, like when she was accused of promoting racist myths. Despite being a veteran Fox News anchor, Martha MacCallum found herself at the center of a controversy when she made some surprising comments about the case of George Floyd. This raised questions about accuracy and the spread of harmful narratives in mainstream media. In April 2021, during an edition of The Story with Martha MacCallum, She posed a question to viewers that referenced claims being discussed at the time, as she questioned whether Floyd died from substances in his system or from the police officer's actions. Around that time, there was a controversial narrative circulating in certain media circles, which stated that George Floyd's death was mostly because of toxicology findings rather than the excessive force used by Minneapolis police. In her remarks, she talked about the pills found in Floyd's car and noted toxicology results, raising the possibility that the substances rather than the actions of officers could have been the cause of his death. Whether this was intentional or not, she was no longer focusing on the police's role in Floyd's death, but feeding long-standing stereotypes about substance use among Black Americans. But her words were challenged as multiple authoritative fact-checking organizations and medical examinations debunked the suggestion that substances were the cause of Floyd's death. Official investigations found that, although the toxicology report showed the presence of substances, the official finding was that his death was caused by the restraint. Many commentators have said that Martha's focus was misplaced. There have been many critics of Martha's remarks, which say that she was spreading a myth that ended up deflecting accountability in cases of police assault against Black individuals. But some supporters said that her comments were exploring all aspects of the legal story. Still, this is one of the most controversial moments of Martha's career, and it was even worse when she made some misleading comments about the LGBTQ community. Martha is also facing criticism for misleading commentary regarding President Donald Trump's record on LGBTQ rights. It has drawn a lot of scrutiny from media watchdogs and civil rights advocates who argue that her statements were misinterpreting the documented policy actions. The controversy is based on a July 7, 2025 broadcast of America's Newsroom, during which Martha responded to comments by U.S. women's soccer star Megan Rapinoe, which criticized Trump's LGBTQ record. Martha said she had never seen or heard anything in Trump's dialogue suggesting he wanted to turn the clock back to a time when LGBTQ Americans were prosecuted for their identities, framing Trump's public statements as neutral or even broadly supportive. But immediately after she said this, the entire media responded. A platform called Media Matters for America documented many anti-LGBTQ policies and actions that were undertaken during the Trump-Pence administration. Surprisingly, Martha didn't respond to this on her show and instead stayed silent. Some of the policies from Trump that Martha never mentioned included rescinding Obama-era non-discrimination protections for transgender students, removing LGBTQ content from federal health surveys, and interventions in legal cases that supported religiously framed refusals of services to same-sex couples. To make things worse, there were other policies like the 2017 ban on transgender individuals serving openly in the military. It showed how much Trump had removed the protections extended to the LGBTQ community. But for Martha to frame Trump's policies as lacking hostility toward LGBTQ rights, it was clear that she was ignoring his documented actions. Many people accused her of minimizing or obscuring Trump's actions and ignoring what he had done. She has also had a lot of tense moments on TV, including times when she clashed with the people she was interviewing on Fox News. Martha has had times when she has had tense on-air exchanges with interviewees. These moments have attracted a lot of attention, not just because of what they were talking about, but because many people have criticized her interviewing style and how she handled challenging dialogue. One of the most talked about incidents happened in August 2020, when Martha was hosting a segment of her show and she questioned Hawk Newsome, a leader with Black Lives Matter of Greater New York, about the comments that were made by another activist who appeared to condone looting as a form of reparations. Martha repeatedly asked Newsome whether he agreed that looting stores like Gucci or Macy's was ethically acceptable, pressing him to address the moral implications of property destruction during protests. However, Newsome consistently avoided answering her direct question, instead shifting focus to broader criticisms of policing and systemic issues. After several exchanges in which Newsome reiterated his broader political grievances and refused to directly answer whether looting was justified, Martha ultimately ended the interview mid-segment. Many experts have said that this moment was a dramatic one in broadcast television. The exchange had a lot of escalating tension as Martha tried to steer the conversation back to her original question. while Newsom kept on deflecting the topic, introducing others like police violence and racial inequities. In another interesting segment, Martha was having a discussion with Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, over educational policy and curriculum standards, especially the disputes surrounding critical race theory and how U.S. history should be taught in schools. During this April 2025 interview, the tone shifted from a simple interview to conflict when Weingarten interrupted Martha, calling her sweetheart while trying to make a point. Martha immediately rebuffed the informal address, saying, "Please don't call me sweetheart," in a moment that placed a line between personal and professional issues. The remarks have sparked discussion on social media. Some praised Martha for asserting herself, while others debated whether the exchange overshadowed the important policies at hand. The interview eventually continued as they continued to debate over curriculum priorities, government roles in education, and topics like literacy, numeracy, and history. Throughout the interview, Martha consistently pushed back on the main question. Despite all this, Martha's career continues to be smooth sailing, and she remains one of the leading Fox News anchors. But she shocked the world when she wrote a book about their family's history, and everyone was surprised at the heartbreaking story. Martha MacCallum added another chapter to her career in 2020 when she published her book titled Unknown Valor, a story of family, courage, and sacrifice from Pearl Harbor to Iwo Jima. This book blended military history with her own family's legacy. The book, a New York Times bestseller, pays tribute to the ordinary Marines whose bravery in the Pacific Theater helped shape the outcome of World War II, including her own uncle, Harry Gray. Martha's connection to the story began long before she entered journalism. As a teenager, she was given letters written by Gray while he was serving in the Marine Corps, correspondence filled with the hopes, fears, and reflections of a young man far from home. Those letters stayed with her for decades, haunting her imagination, and eventually sparking a desire to uncover the fuller story behind his service and sacrifice. When she finally decided to write Unknown Valor, Martha did more than compile historical facts. She embarked on months of meticulous research, tracing the journeys of Marines from their hometowns through some of the Pacific War's most brutal battles. These included the attacks on Pearl Harbor, Guadalcanal, Tarawa, and Saipan, and led to a bloody confrontation at Iwo Jima. Her book combined individual accounts, military records, and personal recollections. Central to the narrative is the story of Harry Gray, the 18-year-old cousin of MacCallum's mother, who died on Iwo Jima along with nearly 7,000 fellow Marines. Martha not only recounts his military engagements, but also brings to life the world he left behind. Through interviews with surviving comrades of Gray and visits to battle sites, she filled in details that had been lost to time, offering her audience a vivid portrait of a life and era that shaped the 20th century. Martha's book remains an important part of her life, and another important aspect is her husband and children, who continue to accompany her through the heartbreaking stories. Martha has kept most of her personal life deliberately private, but everyone knows that she's been married to Daniel John Gregory, a businessman, since August 22, 1992, when the couple exchanged vows in a Catholic ceremony at St. Elizabeth's Church in New Jersey. Daniel, born in New Jersey and a graduate of Villanova University, has carved out a successful career in business, including serving as vice president at Gregory Packaging Inc., a family-owned company known for producing Suncup juice and supplying schools and healthcare institutions. Together, Martha and Daniel have 3 children. Their eldest is Elizabeth, and she was born in the mid-1990s. She pursued political science in university and has even appeared on Fox News in a voluntary coverage role and later worked in political advisory roles. Their son, Edward, graduated from the University of Notre Dame with a degree in economics in 2021 and works in finance in New York City. The youngest was Harry, and he keeps a lower public profile and has been featured on Martha's Instagram and with his mother on Fox segments like Cooking with Friends. The family resides in New Jersey, and they balance Martha's high-profile media career with a private home life. Despite the rumors, there hasn't been any major public issue in their marriage. The heartbreaking story of Fox News' Martha MacCallum is just sad and reminds us of the challenges that she has faced. From losing her parents and fearing cancer to workplace controversies, Which of these scandals do you think is the most surprising? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.